Welcome to There Brewed That, where every episode is brewed for the curious. If you've ever stood in front of a shelf of coffee bags and seen the words natural or washed and had no idea what that meant, you're not alone. Are they just buzzwords, or do they actually change the way your coffee tastes? Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and flavour-filled topics in the world of specialty coffee processing, because behind every great cup is a cherry. And what happens to that cherry after harvest? Changes everything. Coffee beans are actually seeds from the fruit of the coffee plant, and what happens to that fruit after it's harvested can dramatically shape the final flavour in your cup. There are many processing methods, but the two most common are natural and washed. Let's start with natural. The natural process, also known as the dry process, is the oldest method of preparing coffee. Here's how it works. After the coffee cherries are picked, they're laid out to dry in the sun, with the fruit still intact. This can take days or even weeks depending on the climate. As the cherries dry, the sugars and flavours of the fruit seep into the seed, the bean, giving it a unique, often intensely fruity character. Once the cherries are fully dried, the shriveled skin and fruit are mechanically removed, leaving behind the green coffee bean. So what does this mean for taste? Natural coffees tend to be bold and sweet, with notes of berries, tropical fruits, or even wine, and often have a heavier body and rich mouthfeel. If you've ever had a coffee that tastes like strawberries or blueberry jam, chances are it was a natural, but there's a trade-off. Because the fruit stays on during drying, it's harder to control fermentation. If conditions aren't ideal, the beans can develop unpleasant or overly funky flavours. That's why a well-executed natural coffee is a real skill and a treat. Now let's talk about the washed or wet process, the most widely used method, especially in Central and South America. In this process, the fruit is removed from the bean soon after harvest. The cherries are first pulped to strip off the skin, then fermented in tanks to remove the remaining sticky fruit layer, called mucilage. After that, the beans are thoroughly washed with clean water and then dried. This creates a cleaner, crisper cup. Washed coffees are known for their clarity, bright acidity, and delicate notes like citrus, florals, or stone fruit. Because the fruit is removed early, there's less interference with the bean's intrinsic flavours, the ones influenced by the variety of the plant, the altitude, the soil, and the region. It's like a clear lens into the terroir of the coffee. For many roasters, washed coffees are ideal for showcasing the purity of origin. Let's break it down. Natural coffee is fruit-forward, sweet, sometimes wild, or fermented. Washed coffee is clean, structured, and bright. One's like a juicy red wine, the other's more like a crisp white. Both can be incredible. It just depends what you're in the mood for. So next time you're choosing your next bag of beans, take a second look at the process.